everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera show. You know, I've had a lot of fun this week getting ready for the show, saying that we were going to be jamming because all the recipes today are made with Sallie's greatest jam. And I have Sallie Dent Porth right here with me, all the way from
Cameron,
South Carolina, all you South Carolina people. So proud of you and your business and what you've done. And I understand that you started out in medical supplies and now we're doing jam.
Yes, crazy,
so,
right?
How does that work?
Well, you can't think about it. It just kind of happened. This actually, making jam, was my stress relief and hobby when I was traveling up and down the East Coast. And now it's my stress, but it's a good stress. So,
yes, it is.
Yes.
And you know, everybody, she is so passionate about this business and has come up with ways to sell the product by introducing you to recipes that use the product. Right. So what are we actually going to do tonight?
Well, we're actually going to start with a chicken. We're going to roast a chicken and we're going to make a glaze out of my fig, sweet onion, rosemary jam. And we're going to bake it for a couple of hours. And,
okay, and
yep.
then we've got
a thick pork chop we're going to make with a blackberry spice sage red wine sauce.
Perfect for this time of year.
Exactly. My motto is the party's in the jar. We've done all the hard work. And then we're going to throw in a few little surprises, but we're going to end with the grand finale with this delicious trifle that I've actually used your banana bread that has lavender in it, and paired it with my blueberry-lavender jam, some chocolate sauce, and it's just going to be delicious.
Well, let's get started.
Okay.
And you know, we love to do dishes with chicken on the VeryVera show, and so this is just a 4-pound roaster that I bought, and your recipe says to make sure that you salt it really well on the inside of the chicken and on the outside. So I'm going to be getting this started.
Okay.
And then you're going to get started on the sauce that's going to go on top of this.
And just really, really easy. I'm putting 2 heaping tablespoons of my jam, and then 1/4 cup of olive oil.
Oh, wow.
And 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar.
I'm going to go ahead and put this in. I've buttered the pan that we're putting this in. And then I took a Vidalia onion and just kind of chopped it kind of chunky.
Yes,
and
delicious.
Her recipe says to fill the cavity with the onions, which we'll do.
And you got these beautiful figs. They're
Absolutely.
gorgeous. Yes.
And you know, this time of year you can find a lot of things at Fresh Market that you might not be able to find otherwise, because you said, I'm actually surprised that you found fresh figs.
I was totally surprised.
But
so.
you know, I have a bush in Beaufort that's got figs on it, so I'm going to definitely remember this recipe when those figs are on the bush.
And you know, we actually, when our figs are in season, you can freeze them, and I've actually made the same recipe.
Oh, really? Well, that's good to know.
Yep. I mean, of course, fresh is optimal, but you can use frozen figs. And we've also done it with dried figs. You just have to soak them for a little while first. So.
Okay, well, they did have those as well. Okay, this is going to make a really attractive presentation, too, at the end because of the way everything, and now we're putting the figs around it, the fresh figs.
Yes.
Okay, I can help you with that. And these are so pretty and colorful. And everybody loves chicken.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, let me finish this while you start the sauce.
And so we're literally just going to take this glaze.
Oh, man.
And I'm going to put some on half of it now, and then we're going to, of course, reglaze it.
Reglaze it,
yes.
Because the oven is going to be on 475 degrees, and this bakes for 20 minutes at that temperature. And then that's when we reglaze.
Exactly.
And then we lower the temperature to 350, and it bakes for about an hour and 15 minutes.
Because we want it to
just
caramelize.
A gorgeous presentation. The sugar in that, we're going to put some fresh rosemary, and she actually grew this, y'all.
I did.
So she's just like the little Martha Stewart of South Carolina down here.
And I do this. I love how this smells in the oven. You just want to put a couple of sprigs, and it's going to be just. And we'll take that out. Yes.
Take that off the sword.
Right.
Okay, well, we're going to be getting this in the oven, and when we come back after the break, we're going to get started on that delicious banana lavender bread trifle that she has concocted out of my recipe that I did for a commercial. So come back with us after the break. We'll be getting this in the oven. welcome back. And if you're just joining us, then you know we are jamming tonight on the Very Vera Show. And I'm so happy to have Sallie Dent Porth with me. She's all the way from Cameron, South Carolina. And somebody said, where is that? Where is that, Sallie?
Well, it is out in the country, a little farming community, but it's in Calhoun County, close to Orangeburg.
Okay, okay. Well, the people from Orangeburg say Orangeburg, don't they?
They do.
Well, we are getting ready to, I'm so flattered because she went on my website and decided that her trifle would be great made with my banana bread, which for those of you out there that have been following the Very Vera Show from the beginning, I did a commercial doing this one time for the Olympics, and I made it really, really fast, but everybody loved the idea of it because I put fresh lavender in it.
Yes.
So I'm going to be putting this bread together, but you actually made it.
I did. I made it beforehand, and it is absolutely delicious.
It really smells good.
It smells wonderful, and you just were brilliant by putting fresh lavender in banana bread because, you know, I have lavender in my blueberry-lavender jam, so it's a perfect pairing.
It's a perfect pairing. So you are going to start on the trifle.
Yes.
And I'm going to put all the wet ingredients together for the bread, which is 2 eggs, a stick of butter, and then 2 large mashed bananas.
And I'm just doing one, and you just do a level layer of the bread. You don't want to get too much because then it won't be all ooey and gooey.
And you know, it's going to be such a pretty color because it's kind of like light brown as opposed to just using angel food cake or pound cake.
That's right.
It's got this time of year, that looks really good.
So I've taken, you know, I love shopping at Fresh Market, and I've went and got you use a dark chocolate sauce. So my whole motto is the party's in the jar.
Oh my gosh,
yes.
and it is tonight for sure.
So you take, after you put the bread, you take half of the jar of chocolate sauce that I just heated up just a tad to make it spread.
Oh yeah, I saw you doing that in the microwave.
Yes, in the microwave. I put a layer.
And while you're doing that, I'm adding a cup of granulated sugar to the wet ingredients for the banana bread. And then I'm going to start gradually adding in the flour.
And then I have taken about 2 to 3 cups, whatever, of blueberries. And the beauty of this, because you're making a trifle, you can of course use fresh, but we grow blueberries down there, so we freeze our fruit and use them out throughout the year.
I mean, I knew you could freeze blueberries, but you taught me something about the figs earlier.
Yes,
because I didn't know you could do that.
We don't like to waste anything, and you know, it's all about using all your local stuff. So then I do half of the blueberry mixture on top of the chocolate.
Gosh, and I love chocolate with blueberries.
Yes, so good.
I'm taking up too much space over here.
No, you're fine. And then I like making things look pretty because we've got the whole party in a jar. And so I use the kiwi.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and the banana, especially for the holidays. I just alternate when I'm going around the dish.
Oh, that's so pretty. You know, and kiwi is one of those that you don't remember except to use as a garnish, and it's going to have a nice little crunch too.
That's right, and it all pairs together, the flavors.
Okay, so I'm going to add in now the baking soda, a teaspoon, and then this is where the fresh lavender comes in.
Yes.
And you know, Fresh Market has the little thing at the end of the row where all of the seasonings are in the little bag, so you'll find that there. And honestly, you can smell it throughout the whole house when you're cooking.
I know, that's what makes it wonderful.
And then you said you cheated on the candied
pecans.
I did. But I love candied pecans in my salad, so I kind of keep those around, but I'm going to put in about 3/4 of a cup of the chopped candied pecans. And you know, this time of year we all get those wonderful pecan gifts.
Yes.
And, you know, a lot of time the glazed pecans are in that little gift set.
Well, that's how I cheated. I went to the Golden Kernel pecan. We live in pecan country too, so.
Okay, well we're going to keep working because we've got to wrap this up to go to break, but I want you to stop a minute and get that camera out and screenshot Sallie and me because we just made this cute little jammy couple and send it to us and at VeryVera, and we're going to pick somebody to win something tonight. Sallie's got a special treat she's going to show at the end.
That's right.
So send those pictures, and we'll be back after the break to get started on a pork chop dish that's wonderful. Gosh, there's nothing like a delicious steak dinner to make everybody at the dinner party happy. And so tonight we're having ribeye. I've got a wonderful pasta and some fresh asparagus that's been broiled and sauteed. So what we want to do when you serve a meal like this, you want to make sure that the meat is on the right side when you place it in front of your guest. Now for the guest, when it's time to eat, you want to remember to grip, flip, and point. That's grip, flip, and point. And just take a very slow sawing motion, and I'm using a steak knife to cut. You're going to put the knife on the right side of the plate and then exchange hands to eat. One thing that you don't want to do is to cut the entire steak up at one time. So one piece at a time, take your time when you're cutting, and remember, be sure to thank the host or hostess for a wonderfully cooked steak. Welcome back. And you know, Sally, there's a band called Georgia Florida Line. So we're going to start a band called Georgia South Carolina Line.
I love
because we are jamming on the VeryVera show tonight. And if you're just tuning in, then you think I'm crazy. But if you're not, you know that we've been making food tonight with Sally's jams, and they are great.
All day jams.
All day jams. We are jamming, and I am over the cast iron skillet with these two beautiful 1.5-inch thick bone-in pork chops that cute butcher at Fresh Market. You know, I'm going to take him a jar of jam.
We so
I
should.
just love him. And we're getting these nice and sauteed. You said 7 minutes aside, and I'm following Sally's directions. And tell us about this dish.
Well, you're cooking the pork chops, and we're going to put a little onions and white wine so they'll be nice and tender and juicy. And while you're doing that, I'm going to make this delicious Blackberry Spice Sage red wine sauce. And we've made it with my Blackberry Spice Sage, of course, jam. And we've got some sweet onions that I've just chopped really fine.
Now tell us where those onions came from, Sally.
They actually came from Cameron, South Carolina.
And we thought Vidalia, Georgia was the only place to get onions.
Well, I'm going to tell you a little secret. The farmers in our area partnered up with your guys, and they collaborate. We apparently have the soil that you need to grow onions. Yeah, so that's, I always try to work with
farming lesson tonight.
That's right.
You need, is that temperature correct?
Yes, I think I'm good.
Okay.
So I'm just going to saute. This is a 1/2 cup of sweet onions.
Okay.
And then after they saute for just a few minutes, I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of red wine. And I love your tip that you gave about going to the Fresh Market and buying these cute little bottles of wine when you're cooking.
That's right, because you don't waste the,
exactly.
You know, because we all know if you've got a good bottle of red wine, it's going to be gone. So these are coming along, and this part of it, you've got the chop for the sauce, but what is going to go in the pan for the pork chops, we just sliced into nice big slices. So these are just about ready to go, and I am going to go ahead and pull those out over here so we can start cooking the onions. And these are not all the way done, but they're going to get done as we start doing everything else.
And these, my onions, I had a table to 2 tablespoons of butter, whatever your preference. And you know, it just smells so good when you saute in real butter. You can use olive oil if you prefer. But mine are now nice golden brown and translucent. So I'm going to take, and we know a 1/2 cup is about 1/2 of this bottle. So I'm just going to,
You know, and I think a lot of times people shy away from sauces, Sally, because they just don't feel like they're confident enough in the kitchen to do it. So her jams make it so easy for you to create a really gourmet style sauce because she's already done all the work, the reducing of the fruit and, you know, incorporating all the really nice fresh ingredients. You know, there's so much to learn, and actually I want you to visit her website at Sallie's Best, and it's SALLIE. We've got it up on the screen, salliesbest.com, because she's got recipes galore on there with all kinds of things that have to do with her jams. Lots of different flavors.
Yes, our motto is the party is in the jar.
The party's in the jar.
Yes.
Well, I'm all about that. Okay, now I'm going to add I'm going to add my whole bottle of wine over here. See, I did she got to do red, I got to do white.
That's right. And I'm gonna add about 1/3 of a cup of my jam.
Oh wow! And look how nice and thick that is.
It's about 1/3 of the bottle. If you can measure, but that's the beauty of it. You can just kind of eyeball, and you cannot mess this stuff up.
Right.
I'm looking for easy and simple. We all work so crazy hard, and when you get home.
Okay, now these are perfect, great. This is a great opportunity for a screenshot with that camera of yours, because we're going to be giving away something in the next segment to someone that has sent us a screenshot. Hashtag VeryVera. We want to see it on Facebook. Something that you are sitting around watching the show tonight. So we're going to let this sauce keep reducing down. I'm going to add these pork chops back in because this is going to simmer down. And when we come back from the break, we're going to show you the finished product on that beautiful trifle. That roasted chicken's going to come out of the oven with those beautiful figs, and then we're going to put this pork chop dish together. But she's still got more surprises, so come back with us after the break.
That's right.
Welcome back, and I don't know about you, but I know I have had an absolutely wonderful time. Sallie.
Well, I've so enjoyed this.
I feel like I've known you my whole life. Maybe we're just kindred spirits somewhere, but what a spread, a Jammin spread. So remember that chicken that we did at the beginning? Look at how beautiful this turned out. We've taken away the rosemary that cooked with it and put the fresh rosemary right out of her garden pot. And then remember those figs, the fresh figs? I mean, they didn't even fall apart during the baking process. So you've got big chunks of onions, you've got the figs, and look at the way the sauce did. It's
going to be beautiful, and I think you're going to be teaching how to properly slice the meat too at some point.
That's right, absolutely. Yes. So the caramelization of that turned out great. And then look at the trifle.
It's beautiful.
It is so pretty, and the loaf that we baked earlier is in front of it, so if you don't eat it all, you could make a smaller trifle if you just wanted to have the banana bread.
I put it in wine glasses a lot, champagne flutes, little mason jars, yep.
Now I've cooked a little bit of a white and wild rice with some other grains in it that we're going to use to plate this pork chop. But the pork chop dish turned out really beautifully. So we're going to put that on the plate. Then I'm going to bring in some of these onions to go on top of it, like that. And then I'm going to let you do the honors. I'll hold it as you go in with some of that wonderful
blackberry spice sage red wine sauce.
Oh my goodness.
And Vera, you can also, this is delicious on turkey and chicken as well. So in addition to pork.
I mean, the aroma is fantastic. The only thing else that you would need here would either be some roasted Brussels sprouts or just something green to make that plate complete. Now, what is the surprise down here, Sallie?
Well, this is our first surprise, and this is what I affectionately call blue on blue.
Okay.
This is a really nice piece of blue cheese that we got at the Fresh Market, along with my Blueberry-Lavender jam. And it sounds crazy. My husband says I dreamed it up one night, but it is absolutely delicious. It's a play on the pepper jelly.
Oh,
yes.
You know, it is a play on the pepper jelly. This is going to be the new thing. And while I try this, what have we got going on down here?
Well, this is just really fun. This is some nice bubbly. You can do champagne or Prosecco.
Sweet and tart
yes.
with the blue cheese.
Yes.
That's going to be y'all's new favorite appetizer.
You put that at a party, I promise you won't have any left. Now, I have made Jammin ice cubes, and we've got one made with my peach mint jam, orange juice, and then I've made one with the peach pepper ginger. I want you to try my peach mint. 2 ice cubes and a glass of champagne. Look how beautiful that is for the holidays.
Been jamming, and now I'm drinking. Y'all, look how pretty that is. So you could do a bunch of different glasses.
Yes.
You could actually set those glass bowls down in a bigger bowl of ice so that they wouldn't melt.
Yes. And I put a little jalapeno in mine. You've got fresh mint just to decorate, so.
Wow. That is so
And what's really neat
Won't
is
that be great for New Year's?
Yeah.
Okay, unfortunately, we've got to wrap it up, but needless to say, we have had such a jammin' great time tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
I want to thank Sallie, and then I want to remind you to send us a shot of you watching the show, because Sallie has a wonderful gift of 3 of her wonderful jams that we're going to give away that were actually featured in Oprah. So just remember, no matter what you do it in good taste. Look for her products in the fresh market where the jellies and jams are, and she'll be demoing in some of these stores as well. Come back and see us next week, and again, no matter what you do it in good taste. Sallie, cheers.
Cheers.
Good luck to you with your business.
Thank you so much.